Okay, I'm gonna fillet some fish today. I have a lane snapper, I have some sea grunts, and I have a catfish I'll probably do the catfish too. So that would be 3 different species. Now, lane snapper is soft. People say it's soft. The flesh is soft. So what I like to do is scale it first. I have a scaler. I like to scale it and fillet it with the skin on. It helps hold the fillet together. So I'm going to scale it and then come back to you. Okay, so I got this lane snapper scaled. I'm going to leave the skin on. I got the catfish. You want to watch out for these catfish. They have a saw blade barb. And I just got that in my finger, so hopefully it doesn't affect my filleting. But it goes in and it don't come out. So watch these things. So the lane, I'll make a cut right behind the head. Then I'll come in right on top of the dorsal fin. You want to stay on top of the bone. Like I said, this fillet lane snapper is soft. I could feel it right now as being soft. So you go along the bone, try to get all the meat, and then you're on the other side. Just scrape it down. You can go over the rib cage. Sometimes I'll cut the rib cage out, maybe on the other side. And that's your fillet. Right down to the bone. There's no meat left on there. So for this side, sometimes I'll just go like that. I'll just run the knife right down on this side. I'll cut right through the rib cage. And there's the fillet. If you leave meat like here, I left a little bit, I'll just come in there like this and take that off. It's really no big deal. It's the first fish I did, so I'm a little rusty, but that's what you should end up with. You could see right through the fillet, the bone. And that'll be for the coons. The coons are in here looking for fish. Okay, so then, like I said, I'm going to leave the skin on. You could leave the rib cage on. I'm going to leave the rib cage on this one. And this one is done. So those are the fillets off the lane. Now I'm going to do these sea grunts. These are about 10 inches long. And they're perfectly good to eat. To me, it's one of the best tasting fish. If these were 10-pound fish, there wouldn't be one left in the ocean because everybody's going to be eating them. And they're easy to fillet. You could scale them, cut the head off, and then keep the whole thing, like pan fry them. But I filleted the last bunch, so I have a lot of these today, so I'll probably fillet these out. They're very easy to fillet. You don't get much meat on them. I'm going to cut the rib cage. Then you have some pin bones here you might want to take out. You don't get much meat on them because they're small. But what you do get is really, really good. Take the pin bones out and make a sandwich with it. Like I said, they're real easy to fillet. I flip it like that. Take the skin off, and I'll come in, get the rib cage off. I left a little bit here, but like I said, I just come in with the knife and take that off. And you get 2 little fillets. And that's it. That's all you can get off of these. Okay, and the catfish, catfish are pretty easy to fillet. You got the rib cage here. If you got it big enough, you could fillet down this part and then come back and take this out. But I try to get it out all at one time. You want to run on the other side of the rib cage if you can. Then you just go right down. They're real easy to fillet. Then you run the skin off of it. And that's what you're left with. And then up here, you can come in and take this out separate if you want. You know, on the smaller fish, it's kind of hard. I try to get that with the fillet. Let me see if I can get it on this side. So you want to come down like that, and then try to run that piece off. And then fillet the bottom part. So you have what's left here. But like I said, you could come in and take that out separately. They do it on the big ones like that. They take it separately. But these small ones, you know. And that's it. Most of the meat's off of it. That's the rib cage. You know, it is what it is. Coon bait. But these are easy, these grunts. I'll show you another grunt. You just come in, run the knife down, flip it over, get the skin off. Then I cut the rib cage. Rib cage small. Just cut that off. And you get a fillet. They're easy to do. You can catch a 5-gallon bucket of these things like nothing. They're so plentiful because nobody keeps them. You can catch 5-gallon like nothing. And then, like I said, if you leave a little bit, you know, just come in and take it off. We're not doing this professionally, you know. Let's do one more. So you come in behind the head, run the knife right down on top of the backbone. Try to stay close to the bone on these because it's a very small fillet. I cut the rib cage, flip it over, Same thing there. Make the cut, come in behind the head and go down. As I do more, I'll get a little bit better at these. This one came out pretty good. And I cut the rib cage and whatever skin's left on the back. And that's your fillet. And that's coon bait. Okay, that's a quick job on filleting some smaller fish. And the knife I use, it doesn't look like much, okay? It's a dexter knife. It's carbon steel. The blade isn't fancy. It gets a little discolored, but this holds a razor blade edge. You could put a razor blade sharp edge on this, and it's paper thin and it's flexible. The shank goes into the handle so you feel every bone. All the guys on the party boats over the years I've been fishing, they all use this knife. Back in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, they all use this knife. It's brass riveted. The blade is brass riveted to the handle. It's a real good knife for filleting. As you've seen, it's very sharp. It's thin, it's flexible. It has a long blade. I like a long blade on filleting. You could probably use a shorter blade on a fish this size, but I like a long blade, and it really works good, especially with a sharp edge on this type of knife. Carbon steel. Okay, that'll do it.